Hey, what's up guys, it's the Mets guy, and welcome to the first about hour of gameplay condensed into about 37 minutes and 54 seconds. This game is called Edge of Eternity, um, and I really just wanted to talk about it. I had originally recorded 3 episodes, each of which totaled out to about 20 minutes, but there was this like weird audio echo in the background. With like the game was echoing in the recordings, and I didn't want to upload that. Plus I accidentally turned the volume like way down, so you couldn't hear anything. It's just these headphones like are really loud, and so I turned the volume down to what I thought would be good within the confines of the headphones. But then when I listened back, I guess it wasn't very loud. So I wanted to just talk about my experience with the first 3 episodes and the first hour of the game, because I really want to do a series on this one. This game is super fun. It's just so interesting. But it's just a really fun game, and I want to just talk about it. So it's made in Unity, and I don't know exactly which version of Unity. I don't know if it's like Unity 4 or Unity 5. Probably not 5. I think 5 is like brand new. So there's no way it's 5 because it's just got like older Unity vibe. I mean, it may be the newest. This is a PS5 game though. I think it's fairly cheap. But it's just really good. So that just gives you an overview of like the people in the camp and like animals and things, and then you got the main character right there. And the first thing they're talking about is the like stupid anime two-handed, bigger than your entire body swords, and how like worthless they would be in actual combat. And I thought these two were brothers, but they never specifically say that they're brothers, and so I'm thinking they're just like friends, really good friends. And up here, they're supposed to be, they talk a bunch, and then the main character's like, oh, why don't I show you, or whatever. Yeah, if we put your theory to the test, will it make you shut up? Yeah, it's great. I really like these characters. They're very fun, but I did skip the tutorial, just because it's a lot of, like, me just reading what the tutorial is and then doing what it says. I'll show you a real fight in a minute here. I just want to... These characters are so good. And I forgot to save some audio. Just like I could have just let this play out, but once again, that between the fact that I didn't have good audio for it and it was really quiet, God, it's just so great. This girl is really nice. She's just like, nice isn't like just a fun character. She has that I'm trying to think, like the Sonic and Amy, like the main character Sonic. Obviously, she's Amy. She's trying to pull the whole, I'm gonna be married to you one day. There's no doubt about that kind of thing. So he loses a bet, so he has to go on a date with her. He calls it a punishment. She's like, it's not a punishment. So they're supposed to go on a date. These guys are just fun, and then Zendrea is kind of or Zon. I can't remember what her name is, to be honest. I just missed it. But she, she's kind of the reason. And then this Kino guy, he's the mailman, basically, amongst other things. So, of course, Ordo and Darian get them. And the voice acting in this game is really good, too. You get to hear it more when I get some proper episodes put out. Unless you guys would prefer these kind of things where I just do 3 episodes and then cut them down and then kind of give you the highlight reels while I talk over it. I could do that too. It gives me the opportunity to just kind of enjoy the game, sit back, relax, blast it at full volume, play through it, have episodes recorded, and cut them down and just talk over them about my experiences in those. So whichever you prefer, this or that. But yeah, you know, they're talking about a bunch of stuff, and then he finds out in the letter that his mother has the corrosion. And I have things to say about this later just because of something that happens in the story very soon. I think it happened towards the end of episode 2. But yeah, these are just like really good characters here. Like, they right at the beginning they were like, let me just hand you these really nice characters. Like, you can really tell that these guys have been good friends for a while. And you can, like, even though the animations are very basic, like, you can really tell, like, how they're feeling. Like, the characters, you can really tell, like, the feeling that they get. I mean, obviously, like, this scene doesn't do a good job. It's just, but, you know, there's certain, like, what's up with her bend? It might be because she's carrying that she's not carrying anything. It's just a weird, like, bend animation. So basically what happens there is, you know, that rumbling happens, and they get outside, and, like, an explosion goes off, and they all get knocked to the ground, and the entire camp is in, you know, ruin here. And, sadly, the boy, Kino, the mailman, got crushed underneath some rubble and is dead. What a shame. I really liked him for the minute he was there. And then, of course, a giant mech falls from the sky. An alien mech thing falls from the sky. And so you get an actual fight. And I wanted to show this just because, you know, I wanted to show off the combat system, and this is like the first real, like a bigger tutorial than just regular combat. But yeah, the game has like an ATB system, like in Final Fantasy VII, like the original. So it just fills your bar up, and when it's full, you can go press R2 to do like regular, like attack, skip turn, skip time, and like defend. Or no, that's skip turn. And like other stuff, and then L2 is your magic and like special abilities and stuff. So Zandra, for example, is a caster, so her bar turns red when you pick a spell, and then she fires off the spell. For some reason this thing is weak to fire. I think I try like a lightning spell or something, and it doesn't work as well, which is weird. Then again, I'm not too sure. But he's targeting her, so you get a little skip turn for defense type deal. And then there's movement. I saw that. I was like, oh man, it's like, you know, it got a like Fire Emblem a little bit. And then I actually had an issue because I forgot you have to select a target, so I like picked the attack and thought I was like soft locked. So I was like, oh, I'll just back out real quick. I'll just back out real quick. And so I'm sitting there like waiting for the attack to go off. And I'm like, am I soft locked? Did they already, like, is the game already broken? I sat there for so long, and so I backed out. Actions. I went to spells. I went to my spells for this guy, and then went back, and I was like, oh no, it's like broken. And then I hit X again, and I was like, oh yeah, you have to hit X twice. I picked Fire Strike because it, you know, the game said they were weak to fire, and then of course you got your defense. And so then, of course, I just was like, special moves all the time. I felt like it was a valid option, since it seemed like they were trying to do this whole, like, unlimited magic type thing. Unlimited special moves type deal. And so, you know, it's just, like, really fun combat. And then she couldn't use her special move or something, so I just used like a regular attack. Or maybe I wanted to use a special move, but I kind of backed out. I can't remember exactly why I chose not to use a special move. I used ice, and it did like 53. I think the fire did like 70 something, which I guess makes sense. It was ice in comparison. So I went, you know, Fire Strike, and 29, 29. That's solid damage right there. 60 something damage, I think. I'm not good at math. Please don't hurt me. But I think I'm right. And then it was like ultimate attack mode. And actually, there's something that happens soon, and I think this could happen to any character in the party. If you fail... Sorry guys, there was a bit of a mute there. Oh, my controller's dead, that's why. Or it's not dead, but it's almost dead. But I also just left it sitting for 10 minutes, my bad. I need to figure out what I can hit to make it a non-issue then. But man, maybe I should just turn off controller auto turn off. Okay, we're back. Had to start another audio thing. I wanted to make sure the mute wasn't like gonna be an issue. It's just a quick little audio bug. So here we are back again. Same fight, same spot. I'm not gonna cut the mute. I know it's kind of stupid, but I've already cut so much. It would be kind of annoying to try and go back and cut it. Stupid excuse as well. So I did learn in the future, if you're targeted by like a super special move, if you move out of the way, I believe the enemy will still like stay locked onto you later. Then I could be wrong, but I think in moves like this specifically, it stays that way. Dude, I am really angry about this now that I see it. If I had used the thing, I think it's... No, it's not. It still has just a little bit of health left. But I decided to move, and yeah, so he follows you if you try to move. Which really sucked. Yeah, Zandra is officially dead. Yep. They killed off Zandra too. And so, obviously right after that, it has like 1 hit of health left, so you just kill it real quick. You just punch it, boop, 53 damage, it's dead. So it was either already dead, but like Zandra is required to be dead to move on. And then I just kind of skipped a black screen. I mean, they had some dialogue there, but it was basically a black screen of them being like, "Oh no, why, Zandra? That's so sad." Which it is sad. She was a fun, straight character. Like, straight as in, serious. You know, the not super serious, but just the more reasonable person of the group. So here I'm just kind of running around. I think this was kind of an outro type deal. No. It was the beginning of the episode. I was checking out the camp. That's what it was. And so now you get your open world movement. There's only one part of open world movement that isn't there, and it comes in episode 3, and you'll see that coming up towards the end of the video. But I was running around, and of course haptic feedback is a thing, and so I was pressing R2, and it was like clicking in harder, like it was giving me that haptic feedback, and I was like, why is it giving me this haptic feedback? And it was like a whole thing where I was like, why is the R2 button doing this? And I'll explain it. So we fight some enemies. I skipped the fights because it was just more fights to get to this point where we've met this guy. We've fought another enemy that was attacking him, and it turns out that Ordo has the corruption. And I don't know how the corruption works, but if he just now got it, then it was instantaneous. Like, he just immediately had it and immediately began corrupting. And of course this evil punk is like, hey, we should ditch him. He's, you know, corrupted and all that. And we're like, yeah. Well, obviously they're like, no, he's my friend. It's not a problem. And this leads me to my problems. Like, he got a letter about his mother getting the corruption. And he said he needed leave and he needed, like, a lot of time to get to his mother. And it's like, if it's instantaneous, she's already gone. He's already seen it. So he already knows what's good with his mom. but maybe it's different for different people. But yeah, so you fight Ordo, and I skipped the fight with Ordo and a few other just random fights. Because you know, the fight with Ordo is just another fight. It's just another fight. And so now we get to our first, like, it's still a tutorial fight, but it's not on the same level. So that's just to show, if you tap in R3, it'll zoom in on your character, and that's the cinematic camera. And then if you zoom out, you have a tactical camera like this. And then you can, you know, move the camera around and check stuff out. And so now we're fighting, and I hit him like that. And I was like, that's not a whole lot of damage. What's up with that? And so you know, I was like, what's this thing? I'm gonna check this thing out. And so he moves over there, does a weird little animation. I don't care if you guys are like, oh, it's a PS5 game. Why is it like this? It's like obviously an indie game. I'll talk more about the budget stuff when we get to the part where I talked about the budget stuff. But there's interactable objects, and they do massive damage. But there's interactable objects. It's crazy. I was like, oh, I kind of want to do that again. So I think I attacked him with her because I was just gonna do it with the dude. He has this stupid teleport move that just deals damage to like everybody on the field. Light speed is what it's called, obviously. And then I was like in the menus trying to figure out how to like make it work, and so I was like, oh, how do I do this? How do I make it work? And so I think I just ended up like skipping my turn or something. I couldn't figure it out, so I either skipped my turn or moved with Syl, and I moved with Syl. The movement is just fun. And then of course they give you the little hint. And they're like, oh, the rocks, we need to make a rock slides with the rocket thing. And so you just kind of do. And they give you the tutorial on how to use interactables. And then you do it, and the cutscene kicks off where the wall explodes and the rubble falls. And then I skipped another cutscene where now the main character is like badly damaged, and Syl gives her life to shut him into the place with this guy so that they can get to the end. And so Syl is also dead. So they give you these really great, awesome characters that you really like, and then kill them all off right at the start of the game. And it works, because unlike other games where like you really like those characters, like they make you like those characters in a like a believable way. They're just good characters, just fun characters really. And then they kill them all off, and you feel the same way Darien does, even though he's known them for like years maybe. We don't know much about them at all. We just have a really good idea because their character, like voice acting and all that, is just so good. You just get a really good idea. And then there's this crazy cutscene. This guy's got cool hands with like an eye and like a demon hand or something. These guys are chained up to the stone, going sicko mode. They start chanting. There was this really annoying sound that was playing. It actually played at another point as well. It's kind of like just weird laser destruction sound effect. And this is actually really cool. It's really interesting, and I want to see where it goes, because what happens here, it would take a lot more people to force it to a larger scale. That would be so amazing to see. Because just check out what's there. Check this out. So the light blasts off, the ship's flying overhead, and then a giant hand comes out and scratches the ship and destroys it. And it's like, whoa! Bruh, they did that with like 15 or 10 people, something along those lines. Like just a few, like a handful of people created a hand. Of course it kills them. And that's why I'm like so interested. I want it because, spoiler alert, because I don't remember if I keep it in or not, that guy on the stage there with the weird hand and all that, he lives. Yeah, nothing happens to him after this. As far as I know, I think he meets that evil thing that was in that boss fight where we started the rock slide, but I don't think it actually like attacks or kills him. So I think this guy is still alive in the story, as far as I remember. But I really want to know what happens with him because I want to see like halfway through the game or towards the end of the game, you run into this giant like mausoleum or something, and there's like 100 people all chained up to the like another stone, and it creates like a giant like full-on version of that monster. Like what that monster really should be, the full version, and then you have to fight it or something. That would be so cool, bro. Janky little animation there. Gosh. Oh, I love his hands. They're so strange. So fun. So, of course, then you get the voices of everybody saying survive. Everybody who's died, you get to hear him say survive. Well, not everybody. You get to hear Syl and Darian. More specifically, or Darion. I think they're very specific about it. Ooh. Or not Darion, Ordo. You get to hear Ordo and Syl say survive. They just stopped putting the subtitles for his incantations, and there's just incantations. I refuse to die here. Alright, I'm gonna shut up for a minute, because this cutscene that's coming up, I wanted to leave in just the audio.
I have dire news. Mother has caught the corrosion. I managed to get some time off in the summer to take care of her.
Oh, that's good.
She's not in pain. Not yet. Although her days are numbered,
Oh.
there's still hope. For I may have learned of a way to cure her.
I want the squad.
Please come home.
Edge of Eternity. Do it. Boy. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. It's such a great such a great intro to the game. Just giving you like all of the controls, all of the combat systems that you need for the like the beginning of the game. They may add more, but right now that's what you've got. And then they've got the great music. Obviously the audio wasn't very loud, and you just have my comments over it and stuff. But the voice acting, oh my gosh, you guys just got to get this game and try it. Gosh, that is it's just a great start to the game. And then you get Enel. And now I want to talk about, like, the budget. I think I said something about wanting to talk about this being an indie game. But this is just, like, a very simple game. That's the R2 button, by the way. That's what the R2 button does when you press it. And now you get to run around and, like, just talk to people. And it's, like, the open world systems come into play now. Where it's no longer, like, forcing you down any guided roads or anything. It's just full open world. But imagine if they had the budget, like if they had AAA budget, imagine what this game could look like. Oh my god. I'm just imagining like all of this, but like with the PS5, like Demon Souls remake graphics. It's so, it could be so amazing. I really wish that this game does so good so they can get a budget to make another game. If not a sequel, then another game, but with, like, AAA graphics. Of course, I like the art style of this game, and I like the way this game is. I'm just saying that, like, I think that their vision for the game would be much more, like, obviously, I think they really care about this game. Like, there's so much going into there. The combat is amazing. The open world is really good right now. It's just a little bit. I've only played just a little bit, but what I've played is so good. Um, you know, there's already like characters, just random characters to talk to, and like their conversations that they're having, they like probably lead to side quests. Like it's not giving you one right now, but you could probably find who they're talking about, and like um I think these things are called Neckaroo. Yeah, Neckaroo, the most Australian name. I said something about that in the original video. I thought that they well, I thought that it was just like very Xenoblade-esque. I was like, just Neckaroo. I was like, what if this whole game was just like Australian? Like all the characters were Australian. I just thought about that. Um, it would be kind of funny. But yeah, I'm just imagining this game like the way I think the creators wanted it to look. But, you know, this is what they could do with what they had in terms of what they had like money wise, and what they had to work with, and it's really amazing. Just without gosh, sorry, I just read what he said, but just without you know, the PS5 graphics and all that, like the music is really good. The design of the world with what they have to work with is really good. The character designs are fun. Everything's just really nice. And then we'll see coming up, like the Neckaroos are already so great looking, and then there's some monsters coming up actually that look really, or a monster. There's a monster coming up that looks really nice. So here's a side quest. It's a hunting board. You can pick them up. It's kind of like Final Fantasy 15, where they just have like hunts that you can do, and you can just come over here and be like, oh, hunts. All right, I'm gonna go kill a cub of some sort, some crocta cub, which I'm assuming is, of course, some kind of crocodile-esque enemy. And then a Dilu or a Dilyu. I couldn't see it. And then they have the anime, like, graphics for the character. And it's like, oh man, I almost, you know, I could almost, if they obviously went, like, in the middle, but I could almost see this game working as, like, like an Octopath Traveler style game. Like if they did the Octopath Traveler inspired art and did like that kind of motion and just had it, you know, had their version of, you know, their game with that type of art, I think that could have worked as well. Or the super, you know, detailed PS5 graphics and world. Either of those would have worked, and I'm you know, I'm happy with what they have here in the middle with this, you know, what they could do in between that Octopath Traveler style and that PS5 like modern day epic style. They really made what they had work, I think, is what I'm trying to say. And it's just really good. Now I will say something weird. What was it? And that's another thing with the corrosion is, I think the at the beginning of this cutscene that starts into this area, it says like several weeks later, and it's like several weeks later. Like, you know, Ordo was like instantaneous unless he didn't know he had it and it just suddenly kicked in, but then it's like his mother's showing symptoms of it, which means there's symptoms for it. So it must work differently for like different people. I don't want to be like, oh, they just randomly gave this guy corrosion just to kill him off at the beginning of the game. I really do want to think that the corrosion works differently for different people. And so as we play through the game, let's not be negative yet. Let's not be all you know, no, they definitely just wanted to kill the character off. Let's not be like that. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and see if they show any more people with the corruption and see how they react to it and see if it really was just that or if different people reacted different ways. Because the sister said she may have found a way to cure it, and although she can't get to whatever that cure is yet, if she found out how to cure it, maybe she found out how to treat it. You know, so maybe she was like, oh, she's showing effects of corrosion, which could be that it was instantaneous, like Ordo, but she had a possible way to treat it, and so she was able to kind of suppress it for, these couple of weeks now. That could be a case as well. We'll have to find out in episode whichever we get to the sister, because there's, seems to be plenty of stuff to do in this game. I've already got 2 hunts, and by the end of this 3rd episode, there's another, side quest. And I think the side quest kind of flows into the main quest. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to get this lid back on this Coke. Come on now. There we go. Thank you for being patient with me, friends. So let's see. So now, of course, we're exploring. They went out of their way to just create these crazy-looking trees growing up for no reason. I mean, I know trees can do stuff like this in real life, but they really went with the fantasy element and just tried to make them all look weird. So you got just this cute little Nekaroo just having fun, just hanging out. I also gave both of these characters voices that aren't their own voices. I keep giving Darian different voices. Like at first, I was reading all his lines off, he was super whiny, like Luke Skywalker, Tashi Station type whiny. And I went from Tashi Station whiny to just depressed. And then I made the Nekaroo breeder also kind of depressed. And I was like, everybody in this game is now depressed. So I'm glad you don't have to hear that, because it's really just me talking in a deep pitch, and then a deep tone, and then a slightly higher tone, but still pretty deep. So it's just me, but more depressed, and then slightly less depressed, but still more depressed. And the Nekaroos just having some fun. It's funny because it's not afraid of blobs. They like to eat them, but they get sick and die when they eat them. So it's just hanging out. It's like a newborn, or not a newborn, but it's a younger one as well. So that's what the guy was saying. They're all younger Nekaroos right now, and they aren't trained to not eat things they're not supposed to eat. Of course, a fully grown one probably would as well. They're just slightly less likely to. And then, of course, you have your equipment and inventory here. And I think it said you could equip straight from the inventory or something like that. According to this screen here. I think I go back there because I wanted to try it again. I think in the settings that you can either only have it set to where you can only save at one of those manual save stations, or you can have it set to save all the time and just pause and save. I decided to have it set to pause all the time because I wasn't really interested in dealing with having to find a manual save station all the time. In the because I'm doing a YouTube thing here, so if I have to stop in the middle of a dungeon and I can't find a save point, then I'll just stop. Although I seem to always get kind of lucky. And then there's just a crystal growing out of the ground. Maybe a side quest thing, But it's just kind of fun to just see a big crystal growing out of the ground. And then the game kind of has like a Pokemon, like the new like Sword and Shield type thing, where like you can see all the Pokemon in the overworld. And you just like pick up what seems to be crafting items, and then like Lara Croft here or whatever is just hanging out. And I guess Clockwork Field is known for like corrosion, picking up corrosion stuff. So I feel like we're gonna meet this Gloomy Huntress again. She may be part of the party or something later. But of course I have to go complete this side quest. I was like, I'm gonna go kill that blob and, you know, progress this story with the Neckaroo, and then met this girl, and she was like, hey, run back to the town and tell this guy for me. And I was like, no problem. So I run. This is one of those, like, cool. That might be a Crocta, as a matter of fact. I skipped the fight because I. it's like that meme. I'm fighting the Crocta later today. I'll post the video when I'm done. And then I ain't posting that. I got my booty beat. Yeah, he was really strong. I was able to beat his little buddies. But when it came to him alone, I got absolutely destroyed. I was like, nah, you gotta have a squad for this one. So, nah. I'm really bad at timing this. We're getting close to the end, and I'm really bad at timing, like, ending the episode. So I'm going to go ahead and give an outro here, and then just keep talking until the end of the episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Like and favorite for more. Subscribe for your own reasons, and I'll see you in the next one. Now then, to continue talking until the video ends. just so I have that out of the way. So, yeah, this is the guy. There was that girl anyways. This is the guy that girl was talking about. And so, Eden is his name. And he gives us the, gift. And so we just get to keep the gift, and then we get this little level up screen here. And weapons level up separately from the player. Which means... man, I don't know what it means. But... see ya, stinky boys and girls, in the next one. Once again, I say, as I save the game and do an outro in the video that you won't hear because it's muted and I'm talking over it, and then I start running, but I'm like, oh, I don't really want to run because, you know, the video's got to end. So here's Darian in all of his glory.